Hello everyone, and welcome to my next video. So I was sitting here playing my PlayStation and looking at my shrimp tank and thought, you know what, I'll do a little bit of an update video. Now this is I think it's probably around 3 months since my last video. For anyone that's just seen this video, I also did a series on this tank, well actually two series, on setting this up as a shrimp tank, and previously I'd set it up as a fighter tank, and this time around, as you can see, it's grown quite a lot in those 3 months. Now I have trimmed back the plants quite a few times, so I'm going to go through a few of the changes, but first of all I thought let's just have a bit of a look. And as you can probably notice, I have quite a few snails. Try and get you a bit of a view of each angle here. Of course, the almond leaf does block out that side. Yeah, so as you can see, it's filled out quite well. The Cameroon moss has really flourished in the tank, as has the miscellaneous moss, which I do believe is, in the end, it's been spiky moss. I could be wrong. I'm actually finding it quite difficult to find the shrimps now, as they're well and truly hidden most of the time. I've had only a very small amount of shrimplets survive, and I don't know if we're going to get any vision of some of the smaller shrimps that I have. But at the moment, yeah, it's definitely looking very green, and it's definitely got to the stage where it's the jungle that I was always hoping it would become. As you can see, I've got a lot of ram's horn snails. Initially, I had a blue ram's horn snail, which unfortunately passed away not too long ago. I presume of old age, as it was quite large. I bought it in a larger size, but before he/she did pass from this world, it left behind a lot of eggs, and they've been breeding ever since. Not sure if I can find any of the larger size ram's horn snails in here, but one benefit is they definitely keep the tank clean. Now I don't really do much cleaning as far as the glass or anything anymore. The snails do most of that for me. I do still put in a bit of shrimp food, which is the Shrimp King stuff. I haven't changed any of the products that I was using when I first did the setup video. Same fertilizers, same food, etc. But yeah, just been really letting it grow. Okay, so let's have a look at a couple of the plants that I've still got going in there. So the Bacopa has done really well. As you can see there, it's quite large now. It's almost to the top of the water. I've trimmed that down though quite a few times. I believe in the last episode of the setup series, it might have been episode 6, I was sort of showing that I'd cut it back as it was gradually becoming more of the submerged version of itself. I don't know if I can get a bit better angle there. The top leaves sort of have a slight purplish hue. You probably may not pick it up with my phone, but they've grown really well. A couple of the slower growing pieces, I think I've got a piece, yes, in the back there, and not too long ago when I was cleaning the tank, I actually had one come out of the gravel, so I just moved it to the back there, so that's still sort of settling in. But yeah, initially I was having to cut them back a little bit to get that sort of new growth being established, but now that's come along really well, and it's such a beautiful plant. I'd argue that it's my favourite plant in the tank. That's not a moss. But yeah, of course, the Cameroon moss has just gone great guns. It's just ginormous now. Can probably get a little bit better. Yeah, here it is here. You can see it's sort of spreading out there, and the leaves just look so awesome. It's yeah, I'm such a convert to this moss. I actually recently went back to the store that I got it from, and they're selling very small clumps for quite a fair bit. And yeah, I'm very happy that mine is so ginormous now. It's probably even started to attach itself to the wood and stuff in the middle of the tank, as has the other moss. Now, someone might be able to confirm with me if this is spiky or Christmas moss. I'm not 100% sure. But some little sprigs of that has grown onto the timber now, as you can see there, and sort of up the back. And the driftwood that I did put in the middle, the sort of root has really matured now. It's got all this little algae and all this beautiful stuff all over it. And it just looks absolutely amazing. And of course the snails love it, as do the shrimp. Now my crypt is still going strong, as you can see. Still growing new leaves. I've trimmed that back fairly heavily a couple of times, just so that the leaves don't block out too much light. I'm probably not far off doing another major trim of this tank. As you can see, the other plant that I've got growing in there is the Vel, and that has really, from what I had left growing in there, it has really gone crazy, and I'm cutting that back quite regularly, and it's become a bit of a mess up there. But I actually quite like it like that. Yeah, this kind of a messy jungle sort of look was exactly what I was after. So the Vel certainly is fitting that category. What else have we got here? Oh yes, of course. Okay, so the Ambulia, now that's been growing. Oh, there's another couple of shrimps at the back there. The Ambulia has been going fantastic. Now that was sort of, I made a wall of it at the back there, and I almost need to take off the lid, but I won't at the moment. That plant has gone crazy. Unfortunately, the almond leaf is going to block out a lot of it there, but it's an incredible plant, and I must have cut that the plant back. Oh, I'm not even sure. In the 3 months I've had it, perhaps 6 or 7 times I've cut it right back, and every time it's just grown back crazily. The only piece I have cut back probably in the last few weeks is just that tiny little piece here. As you can see, there's probably some bubbles. It's not going to focus. A little bit of a bubble there where I cut the top off there, as it was really flowing in the filter outlet, which was blowing around my bacopa a lot. So that's the only piece I have cut off recently. But funnily enough, it's actually the last time I cut it back very heavily. I cut it back sort of right to the back, and probably an inch or a couple of inches below the water line. Actually, probably almost to. Oh, these were a bit smaller offcuts actually. And this time I've found it hasn't grown back as harsh. I have cut back on my water changes now that the tank's really established. I was probably doing 20%. It's probably doing 20% water change a week earlier, if not 2, and now I probably do 20% water change every 2 weeks. And I found all the creatures in the tank are all still going really well and having no dramas. But I think for some reason the plants have sort of haven't grown as fast as what they were before. I think they've all slowed down just a little bit, which I'm quite happy about, because I was having to cut them back. I would almost say now every couple of weeks I was having to trim back the ambulia, and it was quite crazy. So I think the tank's quite stabilised now, and it's very very consistent parameters, and not having any dramas or anything. But I thought I'd just come back and give you a bit of a look at how the tank has progressed. I'm really loving it. I'm still putting in my almond leaf, which used to be I used to put under the timber, but it's just impossible now to get down there. So I just put the leaf down the side, and that sort of gradually breaks down. Besides that, I'm just doing my sort of bi-weekly, sometimes weekly small water change, and putting in my plant food. And that's it. Feeding pretty minimally. Just trying to keep the so one of the bigger snails there on the side. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to get a shot of him there. Just trying to keep the critters fed. But I think they're getting a lot of food from the... now I think there's one of my smaller shrimps there that's grown up in the tank. Of course, it's not going to focus on him. But I think most of the snails are eating the algae. The shrimp are finding food everywhere. But I'm still putting in the occasional pellet for them, and that's probably the only time I really get to see the shrimp. I'm not sure where they're all going, but they do all appear when I put a bit of food in. They obviously got some pretty nice hiding places, finding some food sources somewhere. I just thought I'd give you a bit of a look at the tank, let you know it's all going well, and probably next weekend I'll go really hard on it again and trim back that vel. The ambulia I might just trim back a little bit this time around. I think it's not going too badly. I might take off a couple of the crypt leaves, but everything's actually going pretty well. Can't complain too much. So thanks for watching this video. If you haven't seen my earlier series on this tank, whether it was the fighter setup or this setup, I did probably about 5 or 6 episodes on each, with a little bit of space in between when I no longer had this tank, but got it back. I'll put a link in the description below to the playlist, and in there you'll find both series, as well as, of course, this one. And I think I did a recap video when I initially set it up for the fighter as well, which was quite different because I think I added in a whole heap of plants that I didn't previously have. Whereas this tank, it's just grown from how it started. So thanks for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed the series, enjoyed this video, enjoyed any of the little videos I've shown since of snails or shrimps or baby shrimps, which I've got a few videos of. And maybe it's got you into this tank. You've set it up yourself. I'd love to hear any feedback about maybe if I've inspired you to get this tank, and in any way some of the setup that I've used. Have you gone down a completely different route? What kind of plants have you used? How are your shrimp going? What do you think of my Cameroon moss, etc.? I love to answer comments and chat to people about any of my hobbies. So feel free to drop a comment below, or if you've got any questions about what I've done. And as usual, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you again in another video. Bye for now.